We got a mashup of my dad playing trumpet to play that somebody tweeted to me that I just read the tweet and started laughing. So I thought, that'll be
good sign.
That'll be a good sign. So I'll do that, and then I'll play another version of the song done by Elvis.
Boy,
that, a lot of people don't know about.
I wonder if we'd be able to tell the difference.
From his, well, maybe not from the beginning.
Oh, okay.
So that'll moisten your taste buds. I had something I forgot to talk about vis-a-vis the travel odyssey from last weekend, which is, I've often said backpacks for me, too many hidden pouches, but more so interior, at least the one I have, too many flaps. There's flaps, like inside there's little holders and Velcros and flaps.
I think it's a feature for most people.
Yeah, it's
inside, it's supposed to be. But I do this thing, and I'm going to have to modify it a little bit. But there's two things I've figured out when I travel. When I pull the ticket and park at LAX, I do not want... I don't want that ticket to leave the car.
Sure.
Now, a lot of people have things like, well, you leave in the car, what if someone breaks in and steals your ticket?
And you got bigger problems than the ticket.
And what do they want to do? Then pay slightly less and destroy my car? And then who is this clientele who volitionally pulls into the parking structure, pulls the ticket, and then looks around for cars with a ticket that's 3 hours earlier than theirs or something? I don't know what that is. But
not a great heist.
The thing about the ticket is it goes right from pulling it to putting it in the cup holder.
Right.
I do not want that thing I never want that anxiety of paying the maximum, whatever. Number one. Number two, keys. I normally don't want the keys to go with me on the trip. I do not want the possibility of these things ending up in some hotel in Baltimore because they fell out of my butt.
A little more unusual, but okay.
I figured out that putting the keys on the car tire, which once again I don't care about, but because the cars are so smart now, the car thinks you're nearby with the fob and it runs the battery and leaves the car open and does whatever. So I do take the keys with me. And I always put them in the small upper pouch.
You got flops everywhere, man.
Of the backpack. Galore. Well, I got pouches and flaps. The flaps are inside the bigger pouch, and then the smaller pouches. My backpack has 7 to 9 pouches. Also, I do this thing all the time where I unzip what I think is the master one. I think I do the big one, and I'm looking over, where's my shit? It's the one right behind it.
It's like a nesting doll.
We were pulling into LAX on, it strikes me that when you're deprived of sleep, you fuck up, but you don't fuck up as much as you fuck up, but you think you fucked up more because of the sleep thing. Like you'll always have this anxiety of, I left this shit in my hotel room. And so we're getting off the plane, and I was like, I'm going to fetch my car keys, and I unzipped the small pouch, and nothing for some reason. And then I started futzing around the multi-main pouches, nothing. And then I was really like pulling stuff inside out and looking, I couldn't find anything. Then I had the anxiety of they're trying to get us off the plane. They've fallen between the seats.
Right.
Now this is the worst position in life to be in. When you're on your hands and knees checking under your seat and the last person is getting off the flight, and once you get off the flight, there's getting back on that flight. So you got one shot at these keys that may have fallen onto your lap or out of your pants or whatever it is. Searching. Cannot find the keys on the floor, cannot find them in the backpack. And now...
Complicating the floor possibility is the fact that takeoff, landing, whatever, those keys are going to slide. If in fact they made contact with the floor, there's no guarantee they'll be in your proximity.
But I think I reached for them after we got to the gate, or at least started looking for them. So I'm thinking there got to be some. Can't find them. Now we got Chris, we got Mike. We got Mike's car at the Wally Park. We got my car at LAX. We have to hustle over here to do a podcast, and I have no car keys. Oh. This is going to throw things off monumentally. I don't know. Where's the extra cassette?
It's the
Who's home? How can I get them? Blah, 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 blah. And I get out of the plane. Mike's been waiting. He wants to know what the delay is. Right. He doesn't know I'm searching for the keys. He's there. I go, Mike, I have no car keys. I don't know where they went. I put them in my backpack. I never take them out of my backpack once we're on the road. But who knows? Maybe unzipped it and they slid out or something. Don't know. And Mike does what Mike does. He goes, oh, give me that. He opens the backpack. He goes to the main pouch, slides his hand in on the other side of this hard cardboard flap with the Velcro and just pulls the keys out.
Oh,
and I was just like,
oh, rescue.
Thank fucking God. I don't know how they got into the big pack. I don't know what's up with the flap, but I'm going to have to work out a little better system.
Yeah, you know what you need? My mom, one of her many sort of sicknesses is sending me tote bags year round. I just found the greatest new tote, and she won't listen to me when I say there's no more room for totes.
What do you need a tote at this point?
I just may need to give you one of Marlis's totes. It's just a bag.
I need a fanny pack. That's where I'm at. Do you have fanny packs?
So let's come to this.
3 fanny packs.
I need a fanny pack.
Okay.
I'm doing it. I'm like the senior who wears the giant plastic sunglasses over the reading glasses.
Yeah.
I no longer care.
Yeah.
I don't care. Judge society.
You're just into utility.
Well, it doesn't have to be one of those like commemorative Kenny Chesney fanny pack. It can just be a fanny pack. It doesn't have to be like a look at me fanny pack.
I want a fanny pack.
Done.
So please mule that in next show. All right.
Oh, look at intern Ryan's holding up.
Ooh. Can I use that fanny pack? Yeah. Is it mine? Did I own one?
Did a sponsor send it over?
Yeah. So my girlfriend got me a Lululemon gift card, and I popped it for my birthday. I popped in, and I was like, man, there's nothing really in my size, whatever. And then I saw the fanny pack, and I got it specifically so that when I go to the movies and I go in those recliner chairs, I literally lose my items every time.
That's a big ticket item. Don't take his fanny pack. That was probably an $85 Lululemon fanny pack.
You're not good enough.
Yeah, I'll get you one.
Please.
Okay.
And by the way, that is the most first world problem I've ever heard. Starts with the Lululemon gift card, then it goes into reclining when I'm watching movies. Yeah. And but it's true. That's what happened to me. I went to the movies, or so I thought, and stuff falls out. All right. So, somebody tweeted me a song, 2001 Space Odyssey, and then he said, you ought to mash this up with Jim Carolla. So I told Dawson to have at it. It'll make sense as soon as you hear it. Then the Elvis version. You guys know the Elvis version?
No.
Dawson didn't either. Elvis in Vegas. Live.
Oh, like presenting Elvis.
Oh, I think yes, I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be funny.
Some weird Kraftwerk version.
Thanks to Kurt Farmer for this.
Wow. Doing the harmonies.
house is proud.
What a
now
ride.
the Elvis live version, which to put yourself back in 1976. Sure, people made fun of everyone who went to see Elvis in the 70s
Sure.
in Vegas because they were hipsters, but we all wish we did it.
Is this a sound alike? Or is this the song?
There's a version of it that's a little more on the nose, but with 2 minutes to prep, I just told Dawson find the Elvis version, so this may be a little different.
Yeah, this is a slightly different arrangement. But
Are
then
you
it goes
sure?
into CC Rider.
How can you
Here
tell?
comes Elvis.
Wow, Viva Las Vegas.
This is CC Rider.
Oh, it is.
It'd be a fun show to go to.
Oh, hell yeah.
Dad's
no.
sitting in.
In the back. The boys in the brass.
I was like Melissa Rivers, man. I was just running the backstage, running in all Paul Anka and the like. All right.
Wow.
This, you guys tell me if this resonates with you at all, and if we can make a connection between this and a life not so incredibly well led. Like, not a lot of stuff on your resume. I know there's a version of this, like, I went to high school with Tom Brady, as an example.
We've heard
You know
it.
what I mean? But I've started to realize that
It used to be higher on my resume.
well, that's good. You want it to slough off. He won't let it go away.
Yeah, right.
He should have been retired 9 years ago. But I realized my dad has a successful friend whose name is Ron Rubin. And Ron Rubin is a really good clarinet player and played with the Philadelphia Philharmonic.
Wow.
And I've now realized that almost every time I visit my dad, Ronnie Rubin's name comes up, you know, and he's always. And then I started realizing, I think my whole family kind of does this. You know, my grandmother would do it a lot with Emery Kenrick's an engineer, and he works at UCLA. You know, it's like a lot of other talk about other people and. Ronnie, and there was always some version, it was kind of reflective or glory, you know, proximity of glory. Like, and Ronnie thought I was one of the funniest guys he'd ever met. So Ronnie, and he was, you know, he's a world-class clarinet
He'd
player,
know.
but he's a funny guy,
He'd
you
know
know.
funny.
And so but it's like, yeah, he went off to play the clarinet for the Philadelphia Philharmonic.
Right.
You did not. He did this thing. He left. You know what I mean? Like,
Their stories are all proxy.
and it's like it kept coming up about, you know, Ronnie Rubin is this world-class player, and Ronnie and me, we did this, and I met him at the Catskills, and Ronnie, and I realized with my family, I ended up talking about other people's success who they knew somehow.
Yeah.
Sometimes neighbors. Dorothy Gravich moved to Paradise, California, and now she makes her own candles, you know, and it's like, okay, she did that.
What
And
did
I
you
don't-
do?
Yeah, and I know everyone kind of knows the high school jock version of this, which I played against this guy in this game
Right.
or whatever it is. But do you guys, there's got to be more of that amongst the losers than there is with the folks that are, you know, a little more substantial.
Yes, but I think we'd be remiss if we didn't point out that for two people who were grasping as hard as they can to find someone successful in their orbit, they thought zero of you.
I was going to say, once you came around, they really distanced themselves.
It
from
would have
the-
been so easy to say, "Oh, my son," and then to slough off some of that credit.
Yeah,
But no.
I doubt you come up amongst their friends as often as Dorothy Gravich
Not
came
nearly.
up amongst.
No,
It doesn't make any sense.
She wrote a children's book. She didn't illustrate it, but she did the 5 words per page. You know, the twins jumped on the
Sure.
bed,
Right.
the twins fell on their head, turned the page.
Yeah.
You know, she
And the doctor
she did that.
said.
Yes, definitely talked way more about Dorothy Gravich's children's book than any of my New York Times bestsellers. That's for sure. Yeah,
it seems like an easy win for them.
Yeah, interesting.
Effort.
Yeah.
Anyway, the one in my household, my dad was a year younger than Keith Hernandez in high school, and my dad played center, and Keith, of course, was the quarterback. He was a great athlete. Played professional baseball for 14.
Yeah.
Oh, you know him from Seinfeld.
That's exactly who I know him from. But didn't you just say quarterback?
He played quarterback in high school because he was a great athlete. He played even when you're in high school. He played every fucking
catcher
sport.
for the Mets, right? Or
no,
first base?
Because he was a Gold
base.
Glove
That's
first
right.
baseman.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, he came up often.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry and George helped him move.
That's right.
Did you have any of that in your family, Gina? I mean, your dad was kind of a celeb.
That's what I was going to say. By proxy, we knew everybody. We knew all the athletes. We knew all the local hometown news talent because my dad was on the news. So there was a lot of that, but it didn't. It's not what you're talking about. They were essentially coworkers in a way, so it wasn't as egregious. My mom She met a couple of her favorite actors from All My Children in 1987, and we still hear about that. Phoebe Cunningham, Cliff, and Palmer.
Gina, you could have gone with that naming. We would have believed you. We were totally on board with All My Children.
We're still hearing about how they hit it off so tremendously.
Yeah, I do. I mean, Jimmy Kimmel's name comes up now and again, but he hosted the Oscars.
Sure.
I bring it up. My parents don't bring it up. But yeah, my grandmother's big one was Jules Mandel, who did some acting at a junior college, was a professor at a junior college if they have professors, and I think speaks Yiddish and German and English, and I think trained his dog in Yiddish or maybe German.
That's nothing to sneeze at.
That was always something to get into.
But you know what? I think the Jewish version of this is the exact opposite, which is why I'm having a hard time coming up with these things, because my mom will see someone on TV and go, Gina, you know him? I don't. Right. I've never met that. No, you know him. I'm sure you met him at one of your fancy. No, I haven't. So that's what I get a lot.
Right. Oh, now you're reminding me of the time when, I don't know, whenever Trump took office and my mom was worried about how it was going to destroy her life, although it's not like she ran a manufacturing warehouse or anything.
Titan of industry.
Government contract.
Right. Yeah, she had nothing going on, but she was worried about him. And I said, I know him a little bit, and I don't think you need to worry about him. And she went, you don't know him. And I was like, I do. I've worked with him a little bit. I've had some interactions with him. Yeah, but you don't know him. And I was saying, like, are you saying I don't know what's in his heart?
Yeah.
No,
you don't know the
No,
man.
she was saying you don't know the president.
See,
Now, I get Trump not popular, but it was really her just talking her son out of knowing the president of the United States of America.
Any Jewish parent would have dined out on that for 4 years.
Never paid for a drink again.
Exactly.
No, yeah, you're right. They could have used me at some point in my career, but we had to talk about Ronnie Rubin. Remember the Philadelphia Philharmonic since 1967.
You still there?
How is that possible?
Made the cover of Saxophone Journal in 1998. You have that framed in your office.
Yeah. Speaking of classical music, I'm going to connect all the dots and musicians. I think this is more along the lines where you're talking about than the Keith Hernandez thing, because I was always kind of thrown in as a joke. I had a girlfriend a long time ago, many years ago, probably on the true love of my life. Her dad would never, I didn't see him that often because he wasn't in California. When we did, he wouldn't shut the fuck up about Walter Murphy. He knew Walter Murphy.
Right.
I know Walter Murphy. Walter Murphy and I did a song together. If you don't know who Walter Murphy is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fifth Beethoven.
I think my dad could play to Walter Murphy.
This is better than Zutz.
He had a
Spake Zarathustra.
kind of one-hit wondery.
No.
More hits?
Well, Walter Murphy went on.
I know the name, and I feel like he's bigger than this one song.
Walter Murphy is richer than everyone you know combined, because Walter Murphy ended up doing all
Hold on,
music.
I know Donald Trump.
All the music
Wow.
for, that's a good point. Actually, that might still count. All the music for Family Guy.
Oh,
What?
really?
Yeah,
He did,
many
like, the
years
opening?
later, he does the song.
That's
He
amazing.
does all the music, and he did pretty well. But
Odd.
for many years of dating this lovely creature, her dad, Walter Murphy, Walter Murphy used to do music. All right, we get it.
Yeah, it's
What did that mean to someone in 1997?
nothing. And I don't even, again, if you find yourself doing that too much and not talking about your own, my dad ran into Ronnie Rubin at the Catskills in like 1951 or something. And
I never heard that part before. You're gonna listen closely.
And then they left. This is kind of my Cindy Crawford was born in DeKalb, Illinois. And then she left.
Right.
Then she left.
Never to be heard from again in that town.
She was born there, and then she turned 15 and a half, and she's never come back again.
Right.
She now lives in Malibu. So this is really a victory for Malibu, not a victory for DeKalb, Illinois, which they didn't like me saying that when I played the University of DeKalb, Illinois.
Boy.
But
Had to be said.
it had to be said, just like on stage. I had to explain to the partisan crowd in Anchorage that the fresh caught salmon, about the same as I get from Costco.
Wow.
I can't believe you
section.
didn't get run out on a rail.
You had the guts.
They were upset.
It was close.
It was very, turned the entire room.
Oof.
The bartenders rarely get involved, but I could hear it coming from behind the bar. But I took a stand.
Did you get him back?
Stand-up comedy's not it's kind of a popularity contest. All right.
Speaking of bartenders, line one has a
Line one. Dan, 48 from Florida.
Mijo.
Oh?
So I was out last night at a restaurant bar, place I frequent. I was with the wife, and we're chatting with the 21-year-old bartender about funny pickup lines. And my best pickup line, silly joke one, is, how much do you charge for premature ejaculation? Because I think I owe you $50. So
Hope the kids were with you.
So I'm proud of myself. I'm thinking that's funny, right? The super woke manager is nearby and loses her mind. Her mind. Now, bear in mind, the bartender I know her personally. There was nobody nearby. This was not an earshot of anybody. And it was like...
Wait a minute. Scene. You say to the bartender, who you know well, right?
Yes.
Now...
Yes, we have been going pickup lines, several of them prior to that, and that's my magnum opus of pickup lines.
Where's your wife in proximity?
Sitting right next to me.
Oh.
All right, then how does the
Underneath of a
manager
rag.
hear this?
She was within earshot, but I sort of know her. I was a little worried she might get a little tiffy, but I'm like, no one's around. She won't care. I was very wrong about that.
So she heard.
She comes over to me, says, that is not okay to talk to my employees that way. Like, I think she thought I was serious. I don't like who would think that's serious, first of all?
Well, how about her saying my employees? I mean, no one owns an employee.
Yeah, autonomous.
Yeah, she's
That's a good point.
You hear that,
Yeah, it was very, very weird. I've been going there a long time.
Right.
And, like, it was really bad. Like, it was the unspoken thing was like, you better get out of here. And
Fondelier's
bad.
an associate.
Okay.
Did your wife chime in at any point, like to try to normalize the situation?
She was sort of surprised. She sort of had a feeling this was a bad idea. She saw me winding up on that one because she's heard it before, and she's like, she goes, no, because the owner manager is not only is she a little bit woke, she's sort of, I don't know how do I say this politely. She's of the ilk that you would maybe think would not take kindly to these things, but I've known her well enough over the years where I didn't think, and she knows me, I'm there all the time. So the wife was like, no.
Well,
and then I did it anyway, and then things went out of
All right, let's backtrack for the pickup line itself. How much do you charge for premature ejaculation?
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
That means you're talking to a prostitute, right? It's not picking up at a bar or a party.
No, it means that you just creamed your pants because the chick's so hot. You're trying to tell her how hot she is.
I know, but most gals don't charge for sex.
Yeah.
That makes you a prostitute.
I know, but it's the second line. I think I might owe you $50.
I got you.
That's
Listen,
what
I wouldn't have
that's
been
the
offended.
punchline that makes it
All
funny.
right,
You're
so
flattered.
you say this, and no one is within earshot except for the person that heard it, who's standing within earshot, right?
Right. The bartender who I had been chatting with about pickup lines for the
Right.
previous
Now,
few minutes.
now, did
Yes.
the bartender try to put it in some context? Because maybe the bartender could have
help you out.
turned the temperature down a little bit.
No, she's a young girl. She's in her 20s. She was scared. She didn't want to run afoul of the woke police there. And it was,
So what
It was
happened?
just an
And then,
uncomfortable moment.
how was the ride home with your wife?
the wife was like, "What the hell were you thinking?" And I'm like, "Well, they know me. I mean, it's such a silly line. It's not like It's so stupid that it's funny." And I just thought, there's no one on earth would get that offended by something like that. Like, who would say that seriously? That's the other thing.
Right.
But it was a little uncomfortable. The wife mostly agreed that she went a little nuts, but the wife was also embarrassed. So I got to hear about it.
You saying to
she got the pound of flesh.
you saying to the manager, "Cool your clit, sugar tits," in response, probably exacerbated things in retrospect, right?
Looking back, that's what I should have done, to be honest with you.
So, did you get a permanent ban? Or ban? Sorry.
Unspoken.
I think it's unspoken in my
Shadow
opinion.
ban.
I think, I'm not going back. I'm not going back. It was very, very uncomfortable.
Do you go there just to drink, or do you eat as well?
Or to harass bartenders.
No, we eat, we
Okay.
drink. I mean, I've been going there for
right.
better part of a decade.
Well, find one of the new Hooters with the new outfits.
That's right.
It's probably
Short
a
shorts.
more tolerant environment for folks like you.
Then you can ask the waitress if she likes her eggs scrambled or fertilized.
You can't say charge when you're talking to a lady.
I was a little confused.
Clear implication.
Yeah.
Andrew, 48, Washington.
Hey, guy.
Hi, Guy.
Calling you right up the road from Lewis and Clark State College.
Oh,
just
man.
to give you a little proximity there.
Man, I could have been a big man on campus over there.
The legend that never was.
Yeah. Lewis and Clark are heavily recruited by Lewis and Clark. I was from North
And I'm
Hollywood.
calling you about another Lewis, Adam. You guys were talking about just being on the periphery of Hollywood earlier, and you living, where you live, SoCal and such, riding around the car with Al Lewis, being slapped by Al Lewis. It was coming up a lot lately. So I decided, another guy talks a lot about Al Lewis is Gilbert Gottfried. And I know you took the vending machine out a long time ago, but could we get him back on the show and you guys could chat?
Yeah, I love talking to Gilbert.
Yeah, he always talks about the 80s, when he would go to, Al Lewis would go to the Goldstein, the brunches in New York, the bolo tie cowboy hat phase.
Yeah, Grandpa Al turned into sort of cowboy Al at a certain point, and then had a restaurant in New York City.
I guess his visage was on the outside of it, and he was there a lot too. A lot like Alan Hale.
Oh, yeah.
skipper.
The lobster barrel out here.
This is an Italian place called Grandpa's Bella Gente.
That sounds
Bella
like
Gente.
Grandpa Al Lewis. All right, Andrew, got anything else for me?
Oh, just other things. I mean, love hearing you guys talk about Windy City Heat and all that stuff, and just keep up the great work, guys.
Well, thanks. I rarely talk about Windy City Heat, but I appreciate it. It's a cult classic. A lot of people enjoy that movie. I know you can watch it on YouTube or something.
I think so.
It is a hidden gem.
It's a hidden gem.
Hey, did
and
you
it's
know?
all true.
Did you know Al Lewis was a left-wing activist and ran as Green Party candidate for governor of New York in 1998?
Yeah, probably heard something listening to Howard Stern back in the day when he would pop up on Howard Stern now and again. So probably had some notions of that.
And
but yeah.
Was your friend Dave, Ted, or Paul?
I knew all of them.
Okay.
There were younger, middle, and older, but Ted was more the middle
I
where
see.
I hung out with.
I'm just looking on
Dave,
Wiki here.
Dave's the one who had the Red Man tobacco pouches stapled to his wall to the point where...
The Wall of Fame.
The Wall of Fame, which is how many expired things of chalk could I have before I graduate high school. Although, let's not forget that Dave, the older brother, is when I was... when my dad in the mid-70s, I think like early mid-70s, he had some girlfriend on the west side or something, and I had to go along with him and hang out while he was visiting her one Sunday afternoon or something, and I had nothing to do at this girlfriend's house. That's when it was, I think it was like she had a son and he was off or out or something, and it was just as I recall, it's like go in his room and pick out some board game or something, like occupy yourself,
play by
like
yourself.
go do something.
Yeah.
And
that's how Adam became a Scrabble champion.
That's right. No, that's when I found the unicycle in his room. And then I took the unicycle out to the front street and steadied myself on a car fender. And we were there all afternoon or whatever. And I just spent the entire afternoon out on this unicycle. And at some point, I got about 3 pedals into it. The thing about the unicycle is you take one pedal, you fall off, you take one pedal. Once you make it 2 or 3 revolutions and you actually propel yourself like 8 feet away from the car fender, you're hooked. You're like, oh, I'm in. Oh, now I got to be. And then it was time to go. So then the whole ride home, I was like, unicycle. And then I looked at my dad and went, hey, can you ask Ronnie Rubin if he could buy me a Schwinn unicycle? It was unthinkable that anybody in my family would purchase a unicycle. There was a Schwinn shop that was in North Hollywood. It was a few blocks down the street. But the Schwinn shop, it would be like going into Barney's of New York and buying a bomber jacket or something in junior high. I was like, are you kidding me? It was $79 or something. Yeah.
I got to get rid of this money.
It was insane. Then I had this thing. Now, Dave was the older brother. And I had this, and I hadn't been hanging around with Grandpa and Teddy in a long while. Been a couple of years, went to different schools and stuff like that. Had this vague memory of Dave, the older brother. I think he had a Schwinn unicycle. I think he had one of those, like back in the day. Now he's chewing chaw and getting ready to go off to junior college and stuff. He's past his unicycle prime, and. We went back. I mean, so much fucking work being poor. It's like, we got to call up Dave
meet
and
the guy,
see if the thing. And then we got to get a ride over to Van Nuys and then see if Dave. And a flat tire in the backyard, not in the garage or anything, just uncovered, just gathering rust out in the backyard. And it was just blah. And then it was like, $10. And I was like, okay, and I just went and washed like 10 cars or something. I mean, in a
hey kid, get away from my car.
Yeah, we have to agree to this transaction.
Why would they even make you pay for it?
In an ass backwards kind of way, their poorness and their thriftiness and their inability or reluctantness to do anything for anybody in their family just gave me this. Okay, you got to do it yourself. Like I don't even know if I was probably past the point where I asked them for stuff. It was clear it wasn't going to happen. So I was like, I got to go wash 10 cars. And I did. And I got my $10 and I bought it and, I had a flat tire and it was like rusty and, everything. But then I did what I did best. I got the SOS Brillo pad and I scrubbed it all up and got all the rust off it and WD-40 and lubed it up and made a new cover for the seat out of jeans.
I'd love to see this montage.
It would be inspiring. The seat was all cracked and busted up because it was, out in the rain. But I took, the part of the jean, you'd cut off the leg to make the cutoffs, and I fashioned myself like a denim seat cover, and I oiled the thing up, and then it was my beautiful little pony. And
until
And I rode the shit out of it. Then I broke my shoulder. Then I tried to ride it with a big cast on my shoulder. And my mom probably took heat from folks in the neighborhood or faculty at Colfax Elementary that I was riding around a unicycle with a huge cast. They probably assumed I broke my shoulder on the unicycle in the first place. And then at some point, lent it out to a guy who's now deceased. And then he stole it. And then I never had another unicycle.
All's well that ends well.
That's right. All right. Last but not least, but it was Dave Lewis who had the Schwinn.
Right.
It was also kind of ironic in that Schwinn made the best unicycles. I couldn't afford the worst unicycle, but I still ended up with a Schwinn because that's what he had. Also, the things, like, I get it. Like, if your kid goes, I want 80 pounds of fudge. Maybe you go, I don't think so. But when there's something like a unicycle, especially for me, it's the best $40 you'll ever spend in your life because all I'm going to do is leave the house and never come back.
You'll be busy all summer.
I'll be
trying to master this
fucking day. I'll be outside on this thing. I won't be asking for food or money or else. Just me and my unicycle will be outside. No.
Couldn't be done.
Yeah. That was, well, you've heard it before, but that was my mom at her worst of all moms. When she went and talked to Chris, not the other Chris, but the Chris who stole the unicycle.
Oh, right.
When she went and talked to his mom, I said, just go over there and tell him, what do you mean you put the unicycle in my backyard? It's gone. It's never seen it before. I don't think she ever talked to her, but she just looked at me and went, I talked to her, and she said, if he put it in the yard, he put it in the yard. And that was the end of the unicycle.
So doting.
Con 28, Turkey.
Yes. How are you doing?
Good, Con from Turkey.
Actually, all the way from Turkey. It's a little late in the evening, but I was actually going to talk about something else, but the unicycle thing hits so close to home that I would just shortly want to mention. I was young in Atlanta, Georgia, where I grew up, and my neighbor had bought a unicycle. He was one of those kids that had everything. His parents gave him everything, and I was one of those kids that was friends with him who would, benefit off of him having all of this stuff.
You live next door to that guy. It'll work. Yeah.
It was, a friendship that is here to this day, almost 20 years later, but the unicycle just brought back such a memory that I couldn't believe that it hit so close to home. He had purchased it, and he tried to ride it a few times. Like you said, 1 feet, 2 feet, couldn't get very far. And I would try it with him on that day. And we finally got to that marker. Like you said, for me, it wasn't 8 feet. It was about 5 feet where I got out and felt this freedom. And it was actually the only and last day that I ever rode a unicycle. But that, it hit so close to home that I had to at least,
Why didn't you talk your folks into one?
My folks, unfortunately, now they're in like a 12-year divorce, like a battle type of thing. At that time, they weren't very receptive. That was more my second home, first home, we could say. So I was mostly always there.
Could you imagine your kid wanting a unicycle and not getting him a unicycle? It sounds insane, right?
The only argument in our house is we have to wait for birthday or Christmas. He can't just have shit all the time.
Well, it's interesting. Well, thanks, Con. The thing that's interesting is when my kids want something, I go into a posture of okay, how can I facilitate this?
Mm-hmm.
What can I do? Now, maybe that's a little too much in the other direction, but the posture is they go, can you do this? And I go, let me figure out how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was something that would have never happened in 10 million years, but when I was growing up. But I grew up. I did shows till midnight or whatever in Philly. Blah blah blah. Back to the hotel room. 1 a.m. Meet in the lobby at 7 a.m. 6 hours worth of flight on Sunday, got here, went to work, did a podcast, and went to the shop, had a couple hours of football with the boys. And it's getting like 4:00. Pretty fucking long day for me at this point with the time difference. I'm gassed out. And of course, I get the call from my daughter. Hey, when are you going to be home? Like, 5.
Why?
Can you take us to the mall? When you and like my mom would have started screaming like, but
She would cut the phone cord.
I was like, I'm tired as shit. The mall's nowhere near my house. I'm just going to be walking in the door and collecting you and heading back out again, kind of thing. And I was like, okay. Because I just like I try to facilitate as best I can. It's maybe low self-esteem. I don't know what it is, but it struck me. So you can be in that mode, or you can be in a kind of a neutral, buoyant mode, or you can be deflect mode. Like I realize if I said to my parents, "Hey, could I have?" You'd be like, "Oh, no!" Like
fire alarm is pulled.
Your default mode is no.
Yeah.
Like that's your setting.
They coached
that's
you up
where
quick.
we're at. Yes, they did. All right, let me hit Simply Safe here. Once you're home. To feel safer, there's no better time than now. This week, our friends at Simply Safe are giving my listeners, Adam Carolla Show listeners, early access to their Black Friday deal, 50% off everything you need, indoor and outdoor cameras, comprehensive sensors, around-the-clock monitoring by trained professionals who send help the instant you need it. Named Best Home Security System of 2021 by U.S. News and World Report. Easily customize your system, and you can do it online in just minutes. Even get free custom recommendations. These are Simply Safe's biggest discounts of the year. Get a complete home security system starting at just over $100 with no long-term contracts or commitments. Supplies are limited. Take 50% off at Simply, 2 I's in there, simplysafe.com/Adam today. Cindy Crawford was born in DeKalb, Illinois, and then she left.
Right.
Then she left.
Never to be heard from again in that town.
She was born there, and then she turned 15 and a half, and she's never come back again.
Right.
She now lives in Malibu. So this is really a victory for Malibu, not a victory for DeKalb, Illinois, which they didn't like me saying that when I played the University of DeKalb, Illinois.
Boy.